Alright guys, let's talk about Algebra 1. So the final three problems are just about solving for x. These are familiar situations, but it's always good to keep up with practice. So here we have one that's a ratio equals a ratio, a fraction equals a fraction. So we should be able to jump right into cross multiplication. So crossing one way we have x, the other will be 5 times 0.8664. Well, it should give us 4.332. And since that's just a 1x, we're quite literally done. So the x value here is just 4.332. Now we could take a second and check this, because if we're saying, well, this is the value for x, we can replace it and just check to see if these ratios turn out to be the same value. So dividing the first one by 5, this is 0.8664. Well, 0.8664 divided by 1 is 0.8664. And so we can see the first one definitely is the correct answer, which this is the nature of similarity. It's the nature of proportions is that two ratios can have the same value even they don't have the same pieces, the same components. Number 2 is much in the same vein. It's a little more complicated because we have a 3 plus x as one of the tops of the ratios. That's not a big deal. We can still cross multiply. So one way will give us 5 times 2x. The other would be 3 times 3 plus x, which means we have to be a little more clever algebraically. Here it looks like we're going to have to distribute. And so on the right-hand side, we'll have 9 plus 3x. On the right, 5 times 2 will give us 10, and the x will carry. Now we're definitely back into like algebra 1 solving. We need to get the x's to one side, so let's subtract 3x. So we'll have 7x is equal to 9. Final step, let's divide by 7s. And so x is going to be equal to 9 over 7. Or if we want to bring it as a decimal, x is equal to 1.2857. Rounded, but that's the approximate value. Now we could go back and check it just like the first. I encourage you to do so. I'm not going to do it here on screen just to save time, but we can certainly do that if we want to check it. Finally, in number 11, looks like this problem is straight out of an Algebra 1 textbook because it is. So we have to solve for x. Again, we have a distribution problem right off the bat. So you may get a little nervous because you have a fraction, but the fractions are something we're going to have to deal with. So if we take this 1/2 multiplied by 4x, that's literally taking half of 4x's, which will leave us with 2x's. And then if we take half of 6, we're just left with 3. The 10x minus 13 on the right will carry, and now we can start our algebraic steps. So let's subtract 2x on both sides to get all the x's consolidated to a single side, leaving 3 on the left, 8x's minus 13 on the right. Now to start getting get x by itself, let's get rid of the minus 13 by adding it. And that will leave us with 16 on the left is equal to 8x on the right. You may already see the answer is, but let's go ahead and carry it through. Let's divide by 8 on both sides, and that will leave us with x with a final value of 2. Okay? So this is Algebra 1 review, but what we're trying to communicate is like you have to know how to do this algebra. This is no excuse at this point. You're in geometry, you're in high school. You have to be able to handle this algebra. With practice, certainly keeping the skills up. And so if you struggle, that's okay, as long as you're working hard, so become a second nature. All right, guys, so that concludes all the key parts for homework 1. So please make sure you watch this at your leisure. Let it help you understand how to do this homework better, and certainly keep up with it.